Imagine how hard it is for a dad in normal circumstances to accept that his daughter's got a new boyfriend. Now add to it that everyone might be a terrorist. Yeah, crazy.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing
Gifted. Episode number 7. Extreme Measures. You know the drill. Capital X in extreme. Because it's to the extreme! Because they just are slamming away at that. Alright, so tonight's episode is all about fitting in and finding your place still. There's still a bunch of stuff going on about racism and sexism and just in general isms that are bad. And of course, we have the whole hunted and feared thing. We do get a first real discussion of the fact that the X-Men are gone. For those of you that don't know, what I do here every couple of days is I put out videos reviewing some stories or a theory on storytelling by a storyteller, or sometimes just a cool little bit of info. If that sounds interesting to you, click the subscribe button because I'm trying to build a community here. I was at 72 subscribers when I started recording this. When I hit 100, I'm going to do some sort of giveaway. Still trying to figure out the specifics. But that's the reason you should definitely be subscribing. For now, though, I want to talk about this episode in particular, and that means to unpack that, I need to go with some spoilers.
So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time.
So yes, this is a family drama, and that cannot be forgotten. The Strucker family is the main cast, and who we focus a lot of the point of view on. But Gifted is also a story about a whole much bigger family, the mutant resistance. Specifically, everyone that lives inside that house. Well, old abandoned something or other. And at the end of the day, we get introduced to more and more of those characters every couple of episodes. And I've felt that as much as the big four, the ones that I know from the comics, well, three of them I do, I still don't know who Eclipse is supposed to be, but the more we learn about them, the more we learn about everyone around them. Now tonight we have Warbird and Blink off on their own, and that's kind of cool because we get to see a little more of them. And that's cool because they're both awesome comic book characters that I loved, and they're awesome characters being portrayed by awesome actors. But we also, as part of this, have Wes. And Wes is the illusionist, the one that can throw up those images that saved the day last week. And we find out a bit about him, and he's a character that's not from the comics, at least I don't think so. And his ability is pretty powerful and pretty awesome, and he has a bit of a spotted background. And the question is, who do you trust? And it's easy enough to say, hey, I wouldn't want someone who used to be a thief dating my daughter. I'm a lawyer, for God's sake. I don't want criminals around her. But realistically, they're all criminals right now. That's who everyone is as you come into this place. Now, of course, that mostly is focusing on Wes, but not really, because as we saw with Polaris, it also is the story of what happened and how Eclipse came into this. You know, realistically, even though we don't know much about Polaris' backstory in the show, the fact that in the comics she's Magneto's daughter, and we've seen no hint that that's not true here. They all have a history. They all came from somewhere. So now, as a father, what do you do? As a mother, what do you do when your child is trying to find someone and everyone around them are these things, are mutants, are other? Of course, that's what brought us to this to begin with. That's the big screaming, hey, we're all just people. I want you to think back for a minute. Is there anything you're ashamed of in your past? I bet there is. In fact, I just watched an entire thing about how Ghost Rider's penitent stare is the scariest thing because it's everything you've ever done wrong reflected back at you, and the horror of knowing that you're not always the good guy. But that's a good way to segue. Speaking of not the good guys, let's talk about Sentinel Services here for a minute. And remember the fact that shades of gray here. These guys are trying to protect the world the same as the X-Men do. In fact, they're trying to protect the world from mutants. And they see the mutants as a threat. And let's be honest, with some of the things we see those mutants throwing around, some of them are a pretty big threat. But then we have this new scientist. And it took me a little while to realize who he was, but he's Ahab from the comics. And Ahab is a pretty big ass. So I'm kind of worried about what way they're going with him. But we'll see. Mutant registration, mutant files, the expanded Patriot Act, all of that, are all what they're using to use their justification of going after the mutants. But remember, the Department of Defense came in today, and they're like, whoa, 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 slow your roll, Sentinel Services. You can't do that. You can't just wiretap everyone. You can't just go willy-nilly because you suspect terrorism. And to a certain extent, I'm glad when I see that in shows. I'm glad when they realize that there are wheels within wheels, and that things can't just be everyone against you. But at the same time, let's be honest, we kind of saw it coming that they were going to find a way to steamroll past it. I do like the fact that our main characters are constantly being put into the situation of having to re-examine themselves. Because in the real world, that's something we should all do. Take a quick, deep look and ask yourself, am I the good guy here? Am I the bad guy? All of a sudden I'm remembering the Daredevil movie, not the Netflix series, the movie. But I'm not the bad guy here. But more and more we're building up the Strucker children to be powerhouses. And remember, I still insist that that's matter manipulation they're both doing, especially the girl. But we'll see, because next week we're going to meet their grandfather, who I guess worked for Trask Industries, which, big purple robot sentinels, those came from Trask Industries, so we'll have to wait and see how they do things. For now, with the slight exception of the capitalized X and all the titles, I think they're doing pretty good. I still really want to see where they're going, especially with whether or not Blink's going to get her Blink darts as weapons or not. And, of course, I'm really kind of curious to see where everything is going. What about you guys? What have you thought so far of Gifted? I've gotten very few comments in the comment section about it, and I'm curious what you guys are actually thinking. Is the story flowing well from you, or do you think it's a little too on the nose for modern situations? Either way, I'm still going to continue this one because I'm really enjoying it. I'd say top 3 of the shows I'm watching right now. But if you could do me a favor and click that like button, share this video, and help build our community, because right now we're at 72 subscribers, and when I hit 100, I'm going to run a special video and a contest as a reward for all of you that have clicked in and helped. But for now, I'd just like to say I enjoy superheroes in general, and the X-Men specifically, so Gifted is right up my alley. Let me know what you think. For now, I'm going to leave you with that, and I hope you have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell.